Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's Tower of God discussion. And for this week, it's going to be a bit different than normal. Like, normally I count the blog post information in with my review, but my review was already 20 minutes long or something this week. Plus the blog post had a lot of kind of important information and important talking points that I've seen a lot of people talking about. And I also thought that it'd be pretty cool to bring that discussion over to the channel and give my thoughts on the different information and hear your thoughts, get a little bit of a back and forth going, that kind of thing, because we do that with a lot of topics. We do it with all the reviews and stuff, but I think that this deserved its own video because there is kind of a meaty little bit in this blog post. Now, it might not be a super long video, it might only be 8 minutes or something, but I do think it's worth giving its own video. So, getting right into it, I actually have it pulled up here so I can refer to it while I'm talking about it. And I'll just go through it part by part, I guess, and give my thoughts on it. And the first thing we have is the image with Kun. It looks like he's putting his shirt on, and we see the girl in the background. And SIU, he said on Twitter, because everybody started freaking out thinking it was a perverted thing, because you see what looks like the bed in the background, and he's getting ready and everything. And SIU pointed out, I didn't mean for it to be taken that way. It's not anything dirty. I'm pretty sure it is Kun and his sister Maria, is what I got from what he said on Twitter, because I do follow SIU's Twitter. Right after the blog post came out, he started talking about it oh gosh, guys, I didn't mean it that way. Why does everybody think it's all pervy? So that was funny, and a little bit of context behind the picture. I know a lot of you don't know the Twitter updates and stuff, so I thought I'd throw that in. And SIU says it's chapter 199. Ron's done a big one this chapter. I wish I had Grand Riss or Grand Health or something similar. We all wish that for you, SIU. But he said this chapter we had the main villain Kaiser make an appearance. Since Joaquin last time was so powerful, he might not have as big of a name value, but Joaquin's defeat was more self-caused than from battle. Leaving out spirit powers and in equal conditions, Bomb cannot defeat Joaquin in a one-on-one match. The Kaiser's a powerful enemy too, not to mention his ... bloodline ... So right there, that next part, we get to see Kaiser, and we get to see that Kaiser is a super strong enemy. Kaiser's not as strong as Joaquin, not quite as big a deal as Joaquin, but he's a powerful enemy for Bomb without the power-up. Because Bomb without the power-up can't beat Joaquin, which I think is still cool, and it still leaves Joaquin as a really cool bad guy for the future. Just because we defeated him once doesn't mean we can defeat him again, because in equal conditions right now, Bomb can't take him. So I think that was really cool of SIU to say. And it sort of elaborated it for a lot of fans, I think, because a lot of people were wondering, since we defeated Joaquin, does that mean Bomb has already surpassed him, that Bomb can move on to his next challenge or whatever? But it's nice to know that Joaquin is still above Bomb in terms of 1v1 strength, and Bomb, maybe after Rice Pot training, maybe after making it to the floor of death, maybe then he can build himself to be Joaquin level in equal conditions. So I think that was really cool. And also the hint at Kaiser's bloodline. So maybe Kaiser is from one of the 10 families. Maybe he's from the 10th family even. I know, the excuse for every theory, and I've caught myself doing it as well, but the excuse for every theory whenever we need to explain something, everyone's always 10th family. And I do the same thing because it's one of those easy things. When some new mystery comes up, you're just well, we haven't heard about the 10th family yet, so maybe that's the answer. So hell, it could be. I personally think that Kaiser could be one of the descendants of, or he's a Tower native, or maybe one of the descendants of the Tower natives that fought the 10 families there, and maybe that's his motivation for stealing all these names, for ruling over Name Hunt Station. So I'm thinking that Kaiser has something to do with the story we heard from, I think it was Chagrinsky, about the reason Name Hunt Station has its special rule. So I think that's really cool. The next thing SIU brings up, oh yeah, and also comment down there to tell me what you think of the whole Bomb and Joaquin situation, but also Kaiser's bloodline, what you think it might be. I think if he isn't an important native of the tower, then he might actually be from one of the 10 families that are stealing other names, maybe. So he obviously has an important bloodline because SIU mentioned it. And I like that he seems like he's going to be a pretty damn powerful enemy for Bomb. Next he says, to add to my last week's exposition, Machete-style electric spears can only be used by Machete's descendants. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of this paragraph. There are spells that copy it similarly, but unlike Ron, it doesn't have the same reaction like the Redon, which is the lightning pill, pretty sure, right? Hold on. Let me open this just to double check. I'm pretty certain the Redon's the lightning pill. Yeah. Yep, it's the lightning pill. So, it doesn't have the same reaction as the Redon. Since its force, it's got a limit unlike that of Ron's. At first I said all the Coon family uses electric attacks, but I decided to scrap it because our Coon would be put in a strange situation. It's said that although Coon's family normally uses spears, but spears weren't Agaro Agnes's thing, but he can still throw quite nicely. He does lighthouses because it's cushy, but even in melee he's top 3 in Bomb's party. Before working my way back up to the top where it's the thing a ton of people have been talking about, top 3 in Bomb's party for melee, that might be a little bit OP because Coon is great at strategy, he's great at being a light bearer, but the thought of him also, we know he's pretty good, we've seen him fight with the knife before, so we know that he's pretty good in melee, but just top 3 in the party, to imagine who else is good at melee, I could say, okay, Coon's better at melee than Barrow because Barrow is a scrub. Same with even Chunhwa, maybe. I could maybe see him being better than Chunhwa. But there's no way that Coon is better than Rack at melee, in my opinion. No way he's better than Boro at melee. He's better than Rack and Boro at some things, but definitely not melee fighting. I wouldn't even consider him close. And then, I don't know, maybe we don't have that many melee fighters. Maybe that's an okay claim to make. Because I don't think we have a ton of melee fighters. The only other one that's in Bomb's current group that I'd say maybe is Chang Blerode, but we don't know anything about his powers. And it is kind of hinted at that Coon gave him the scar on his eye, so who knows really. So maybe that's an okay claim to make. When I first read through this, I was like, top 3 at melee? Coon's good at too many things. He might be getting to a too special snowflakey level. You can be good at strategy, you can be good at lighthouses and all that other stuff, but throw in being one of the top... he can be good at melee, but being, the best, one of the best at melee, I think that might be a little bit much. Also like how he brought up that not all the Coon use electric attacks, even though that's what he had first said, because sometimes, I guess as a writer, you kind of have to go back on stuff like that, because you're like, yeah, I said that the Coon family uses that, but then only maybe half the ones we've seen use electricity, so maybe it's common, but maybe it's not something that the family uses altogether. But now the thing everyone's been talking about, where he says Machete-style electric spears can only be used by Machete's descendants. So a lot of people are saying, does that mean that Ron is her direct descendant? Is he her son, her grandson? But I am with the group of people that are arguing the opposite, that Ron is not her child, that he is that it's just a weird thing in the translation, and that it just means he's from the same branch as her or whatever, or that he is closely related to her. Because I think that Ron's pretty young, and I think that she's been a princess for a long time, and they're obviously not being hunted by the Royal Enforcement Division, so he's obviously not her son, I guess. So he can't be her son from... The timeline just doesn't work out. So I am in the group that says that he's not her son or her child. But if you guys think differently, let me know. Let me know what you think of the situation, because I know some people are saying, you know, maybe she had him before she became princess, and that's why it's okay. But it seems like she's just been princess for a long time, and Ron's pretty young, so I don't think it really matches up that well. Unless he's old and just looks really young. But that doesn't seem to be the case with him. And then next SIU says, next chapter will begin the story of the Kaiser and the story of the Name Hunt Station. It doesn't seem like much, but it's closer to the main story than you think, so I hope you pay attention to the next few chapters. Of course, there will be other side stories as well that'll be fun too. Thank you. So that, again, really cool. I'm really hyped for this arc, and I like that he pointed out it is a good refresher and a good getting us away from the train stuff for a little bit, but it's good too that it does play into the main story. There are going to be things that carry over, and of course I think it's going to be important because I'm really, really hoping we get a big team reunion where Bomb brings the 5 Volume 1 teammates back into his team, and where he brings the 5 Team Novik members back into his team. Because SIU said in previous blog posts that he doesn't care if some people dislike it. He likes keeping the team big and juggling all these characters with the team, so that some arcs he can focus on some, and some arcs he can focus on other ones. I think as long as he gives each character a little bit to do here and there, I'm totally cool with the big team. And I would prefer for them to move together from floor to floor, even if while on the floor they split up for different parts of the tests or stuff. I would like them to move together from floor to floor. I don't like them being separated any longer. It was okay for like a little bit, but now it's getting to the point where I just want Bomb's team to travel all together as Bomb's team. Sometimes people will die, sometimes people will get left behind, like what has happened to some people in the past where they've been injured, like we've seen, or where people have died, of course. But overall, I just want to see them sort of be together as a team. I know some of you, I kind of want, again, to hear what you think about that, if you do want them all to be together, or if you think traveling separately is more entertaining. I just kind of prefer when they're together. It makes it feel more ordered, so that we don't go through, like we just went through months not knowing what happened. Like Ron's team was supposed to meet back up with us at Wooden Horse, and they didn't show back up. Nobody really mentioned it, and we went through multiple other arcs just 4 months not knowing where the hell Ron and Novik's team was. So I do kind of not like the splitting up so much. I would rather we stay together because it keeps it a bit more orderly for the story's sake. And that's just my personal opinion, and my personal opinions on this blog post. So I guess like if you liked it, comment down there, tell me what you thought of the stuff brought up in the blog post, what you thought of my thoughts on it, your own thoughts and theories and guesses, predictions, whatever. I'm always happy to talk about them all with you. Subscribe for more Tower of God, Walking Dead, One Piece, and a bunch more, because I'll be doing a bunch more stuff, trying to hopefully kick off this, or keep this Pokemon Let's Play up as often as possible, and do more gaming, and more like big videos that take me a couple weeks to do as well. I'm having fun with that, and I want the channel to have a little bit more variety, you know what I mean? Man, I carried on with that way too long. Follow on Twitter if you want updates on when I'm posting stuff or pushing stuff back. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.